Just zipping through hour two here, just kicking it off, and more and more we hear that the major concentration of the coronavirus deaths were in senior care facilities. Many of I think here in New York, 85% of all COVID deaths were people over 75, and we've seen across the country that they've been concentrated into senior homes. And to break that down and talk about a possible solution to keeping in good, close contact with your loved ones, Casey McConnell, CEO and founder of the Eden Life Care app. And this app helps connect seniors with their families while they're in nursing homes, and also gives family members direct contact with loved ones and caretakers. Casey, there must be big demand for this right now.
Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I actually started this in January. We just put my 96-year-old grandpa into a nursing home in October. And then I started to realize, there was kind of a gap there for communication. So I started working on Eden, and then COVID happened. And it just totally intensified the need for the solution. So the team has been hard at work, and our focus right now is June 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We are putting on Grandparents and Caregivers Day, where we're going to nursing homes and hospitals and healthcare facilities. And as a community, we're just trying to rally around our grandparents and the caregivers. My grandpa's lived at home his whole life. And since this happened, he hasn't been out of his bedroom since about March. And it's taken a mental toll on my grandpa. So I just want to throw a party in the front lawn.
I can imagine. Now, Casey, it's no question, great work that you're doing, very badly needed at this time in particular, but really always. I do hear from a lot of folks who are elderly, and they're not necessarily comfortable with smartphone technology or using the internet. How accessible is your app for the average ordinary 75-year-old? And if someone is not used to using a smartphone or the internet to communicate, is this something that they're going to have a tough time with?
So I'm a dad of two little boys, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And we had this amazing app at our preschool, and it's really for the staff and the parents. And the subject is my little boys. So my little boys don't use the app. So the same premise is here. It's for the nurses and the caregivers to communicate with family about grandma and grandpa. So grandma and grandpa are learning the technology. They are being shown on an iPad or a laptop pictures that are being sent in from family, but they're not the ones using the technology. The technology is for the nurse with that smartwatch or an iPhone. She's snapping a quick picture or a quick video and just updating that on Eden, so all family members can see those updates in a private, HIPAA secure area.
So let me ask you this: a lot in our audience, business folks, entrepreneurs, business owners. How do you get this to the masses? Like, is there a franchise opportunity? Do you have to get nursing homes to come on board and encourage their staff to have the app? Like, how do you get it from old people who are not technically great with technology? How do you encourage the middleman to show it to them?
That's the challenge. It's making the introduction to the facilities themselves. So there's about 50 corporations that own about a third of the market space for elder care. And then you have, that same system over in hospital systems. So our team is hard at work, making those introductions and showing the product. And ultimately, though, we need to partner with those facilities because it's HIPAA compliant information. It's, their staff, who's their employees, communicating with the families about residents. So it has to go through the healthcare provider, locally, in order for it to go.
And then let me ask you this: how do you guys make money?
So we are a subscription. We're a SaaS play. So our partners, those healthcare facilities, pay us, an annual subscription for that service per location, because each location is within itself its own website, its own domain, because it has its own administrator, its own physical location, its own patients, and its own family. So each one of those facilities is treated as a unit.
So you have, whether it's a corporation or not, it's subscription based. You got some kind of node that's in each geographical location, and then you have some centralized database where you can filter out the information to the appropriate end users.
Yes, yeah. So we're on the Amazon HIPAA compliant server. So we're a cloud-based system. And then the cool thing about it is, so the facility signs up, they have one person who's the administrator who manages the communication side from their side. So maybe I'm a CN or I'm an employee in that system. I have permission settings. So maybe I can't send without my administrator okaying those messages because it's sensitive information. It's doctor reports. It's hard conversations about mental health, especially right now. My grandpa is a retired school teacher, and he's never had mental health issues. And we had to put him on some medications right now just to try to kind of clear that little blue, mood. So it's private, hard conversations that need to be very, staff to family and very direct. But the other side of it is, we want to be able to send pictures of grandkids, or we want to be able to send grandpa uplifting messages. So especially now, he knows we love him and we're out here supporting him. We just can't physically go be with him.
So finally, Casey, if people are watching and they either have a loved one that's in a nursing home or they happen to be work in a nursing home themselves and they want to start using the app, what's the best way for them to do this? How do they get started?
They can go to our website. It's EdenLifeCare.com, but most of our fun right now is over on Facebook. It's Eden Life Care at Facebook as well. We're really focused nationally on our event. Senator Leahy, we're talking to the governors. We're trying to get a proclamation for June 10th to actually have people celebrate this as an unofficial holiday. And so that's really our campaign right now. And we're trying to mobilize an army of 20,000 bakers to bake cakes and hand those into their local hospital. And the big campaign we're doing is this shirt we designed, and it says, "I am loved." We want to put these t-shirts on grandmas and grandpas and caregivers as an affirmation that they can read and say, "I am loved." So we're doing a Kickstarter, and we're trying to put t-shirts in facilities around the nation and put t-shirts on grandmas and grandpas.
Wow. Well, that's great work that you're doing. Please keep us updated. I hope you'll come back and visit us sometime soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, anytime.
Thank you.
That's Casey McConnell, CEO and founder of the Eden Life Care app. And I like the shirts they came up with, Frankie, the I Am Loved shirts. That sounds cool. I look at it, and it sounds like a great thing. But the one trick is when you get involved in that HIPAA stuff with that medical information, it's hard to get the buy-in from those big corporations to use your app to share people's, medical condition, even if it's a photo of them in their bed. Some of these nursing homes and healthcare facilities have crazy rules around them,
Well, it's going to be very interesting, but certainly they're doing great work, and I hope everybody checks out the website and the app. Absolutely.
Yeah, it sounds like it would make a lot of older folks' day a little more joyous, but and the delivery method may get difficult. Frank, I don't know if you saw some breaking news just in the last few minutes. The first time I've seen it. Susan Rice, who's been alleging since 2017 that she knew nothing about the Trump probe into Flynn and the Russiagate. Apparently now there's been some more of her emails declassified where, lo and behold, she knew a lot about it.
I did see that. I find it pretty interesting, and certainly raises a whole lot more questions.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Barr himself actually came out and said that he doesn't see it rising to the point of Obama or Biden having to testify. But it sure looks to me like the circle of people around the president and vice president that had infinite knowledge of this is becoming more and more clear.
Well, it certainly does seem that way.
It sure does. All right, it seems like we're out of time in this segment, but don't go far. We're going to take a quick break right now. We're going to come back with Joe Hagan, the CEO of Wealth Colony. Joe's been really on the money in a time when stocks are really getting smacked around and it's hard to find values. Last week we talked about Joe's pick of a company called Datadog, and Joe's got some ideas that we're going to talk about today, including how you can earn some passive income. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Joe Hagan from Wealth Colony right after this.